going on, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, cats and dogs? You are listening to another episode of Rebellion Wrestling Radio, and as always, I'm your host, Ryan, a.k.a. Mr. Showtime. And, boys and girls, it is Bound for Glory weekend, brought to you by the good folks at Impact Wrestling. I am super excited. We have a lot of Impact Wrestling news to talk about. I kind of want to break down the card as well. And, yeah, you know, I think that, it's nice to get a nice little breath of fresh air. I'm still a WWE fan. I, love my Lucha Underground and Ring of Honor, but I tell you what, it's just nice to see a TNA, I still call it TNA, an Impact Wrestling pay-per-view, because we don't get them every month anymore. I think we were spoiled with that back in the day, so it's the biggest one of the year. They're traveling outside the Impact Zone, which is super awesome. And, they're in Canada, right? So, Canada has so many ties to professional wrestling. And, especially with a couple matches this weekend that we're going to be seeing at Bound for Glory. But, before we get into all that, I kind of want to address, my absence and our absence and whatnot. We had some randomness going on, some job, I don't want to say job stuff. I've just been really busy at work. We had some family stuff going on. I honestly wasn't sure if I was going to be doing this podcast anymore. We did some wrestling episodes under the Hardcore Geek banner, so it might be a little confusing, especially on the Podbean channel. You're going to hear, Rebellion Wrestling Radio, and you're still going to hear Hardcore Geek Wrestling. We're one and the same. We're keeping it at Rebellion Wrestling. We're going back to our roots. And, I just want to apologize. It's been kind of crazy. My goal is to do a podcast for you, if not weekly, then definitely, multiple times a week if I can, because there's so much going on. And professional wrestling is something that I absolutely love, it's in my, I don't say it's in my blood, but it's my passion. I love pro wrestling. And especially with the friends and guests that we get to have on the show, whether they are actually professional wrestlers in the industry or just friends of mine like Hammer and James and Joe and all them. It's always great to have everybody on. So we're gonna be getting back to our roots. We're gonna be doing some wrestling roundtables coming up soon, and then as always, guys, you can check us out on iTunes. And you can, if you want to support the show, you can go to prowrestlingtees.com/Rebellion Wrestling. We got some t-shirts designs up there, and, hoping to get some more up there soon. But, that definitely helps with kind of, paying for the hosting and paying for all the other cool stuff. So, if you want to check us out on Twitter, we are at RW_podcast. And, we're pretty much everywhere else. So, we'll go ahead and kind of get into things here. So I kind of wanted to address a couple, some stuff that happened this week. We had some departures from Impact Wrestling, and kind of sucks. You never like to see anybody, up and leave. We talked last week about the departure of Emma and Darren Young and Summer Rae from the WWE. Today we actually found out that Sawyer Fulton was let go as well. And it's just, you never like to see anybody lose their job, especially coming right up on Bound for Glory. And it's not really like nobody got fired. I think these people were just released from the contracts. I know some actually they requested. First of all, we had Marche Rocket and MJ Jenkins. Now I had the opportunity to meet and see MJ Jenkins a couple times in AIW, Absolute Intense Wrestling. That's a fine organization out here in Cleveland, Ohio. And I think she was really great. I think she was super charismatic. And I think when I saw her on, I want to say it was one of the one night onlys. It was, oh my God, I can't remember the name of it, but it was basically an all knockouts pay-per-view. It wasn't one of the knockouts knockdown ones, but the concept was basically knockouts knockdown. So I really thought that she was going to be able to be a big force in the Knockouts division, considering, we just lost Terrence Harrell. We have Gail Kim that's going to be hanging up the boots too. So I think that, a good influx of talent into Impact Wrestling would have really benefited the Knockouts division. Now there's rumors that we're going to be getting Tessa Blanchard, and oh my God, I would absolutely love that if that's the case. I've heard rumors that even Ricochet might be coming there, but you hear stuff about Ricochet maybe doing some other work with New Japan. I believe in January he's going to be free from his contract from Lucha Underground. I believe that is it here. I think that's like when his non-compete clause is up. So I'm looking forward to see where he shows up. I think he'd be awesome in Impact Wrestling, actually. A lot of people are saying, he has to go to NXT, he's got to go to WWE, but I think, if you bring Ricochet in to Impact Wrestling, and, you could put him in the X Division, but I think, if you put him up, let's say you put him up against, Alberto El Patron, I think that would be an intriguing match. Definitely a little bit of a clash of styles, but I think, Ricochet, the name value alone is enough to bring more eyes to the Impact product, so that's just how I feel about that. Some other news is we had the departures of both Brian and Earl Hebner, and the other referee I can never, Mark Stifler, I can't remember. I think it's Mark Stifler. He departed as well. From what I understand is that these referees were paying their own way to any kind of Impact show, paying their way down to the Impact Zone. And they didn't really get an official spot on the roster, which was, kind of weird. And then the news for Bound for Glory apparently was they weren't going to be using the normal Impact Wrestling referees, that were going to be using local referees from local independent promotions, which, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because, you kind of give local talent, local referees, local workers a chance to work on a really big show, the biggest show of the year for Impact. So I think that was, kind of a cool concept, but at the same time, if you have your regular referees, people that you see every single week on Impact and an Explosion, I think that it kind of throws you for a loop a little bit, but it's kind of weird, I didn't think that was going to be the case, It's weird that Earl just up and left too. He kind of became a fixture of Impact. I've always associated him when I was younger with the WWF and the WWE, but Earl actually showing up in Impact and playing the role that he's played in Impact, and he's had some funny segments too over the years. He wasn't just the referee that stood in the back, and best of luck to him and Brian Hebner as well. And everybody else that is not going to be on the Impact roster going forward. I'm sure the door is always open, and it really leads you to think, with the whole thing with Jeff Jarrett being, his ties are cut with Impact. There's no more GFW. It raises a couple questions. A, the Global Wrestling Network. What's going on with that, right? B, what is going to be happening with these international and all these other partnerships with international promotions and local promotions and United States promotions? It's really going to be interesting, because all this stuff was pre-taped leading up to Bound for Glory, and at the time, everything was still GFW. And I think that's why I'm so interested in Bound for Glory, and it's almost like how I was interested in when Slammiversary came up, because we were going from the Impact transition into GFW, and now it's kind of like it's, you fast forward a few months later and it's the complete opposite. And not only do we have the Impact name coming back, which I personally always preferred the Impact name over GFW. I'm still not sold on the title belts. I'm big on title belts. I hope they get rid of those nasty green ring ropes. I honestly was always a fan of Impact Wrestling. Even when it was TNA, when they switched it to Impact Wrestling, I was like, thank God. Because now, TNA was, it was okay for the time, but I think that Impact Wrestling, it really kind of sums up what what the product is, and I'm glad to see the name come back. Now, we saw some changes to those actual title belts. We saw the Impact Wrestling logo kind of slapped over the Global Force Wrestling logo. I guess it's just a plate, which honestly doesn't look bad. Some people are complaining about it. I think it looks okay. I think it honestly looks the best on the X Division title. I think it kind of blends in pretty well. And the only one it kind of looks a little awkward on, personally, I think is literally the world title. I really wish they would just bring back like the TNA heavyweight title and just maybe, work on it. Maybe get the TNA name off there and just maybe try to, make a new one with the name Impact Wrestling on it. That's just what I'm hoping. But, that's my thoughts on that situation. We did get some news today and I'm super bummed out because this is a match that I was really looking forward to tomorrow, or today, or whenever you're listening to this. Taya Valkyrie is unfortunately not going to be able to make it to not only Bound for Glory, but the Impact tapings leading right after. Now, I don't know the exact details. I know she went on and she said she's super devastated and, it's kind of beyond her control. I've heard things from, health issues, personal issues. I heard visa issues. The visa issue, I think, would probably make the most sense because it's, when she says, like, it's out of my control. I think that, she's not injured as far as I know. I don't think she never came out and said, like, hey, I'm sick or I have this and I'm not going to be able to compete. I think it might have something to do with traveling, or maybe she was double booked. I don't know. But I don't think she's actually booked anywhere on Sunday, but a little bummed out, and because I'm a huge Rosemary fan, and I like Taya, especially from Lucha Underground, right? I'm still trying to get hip to her new character in Impact, but I'm sure she said she's gonna be back. It's not like she's off the roster or anything, and she didn't quit or anything. But it's just it sucks because I really want to see that Red Wedding match. I think that if you can bring in like a mystery opponent for Rosemary, that'd be kind of cool. Like, for example, and you don't really have to bring anybody in like a new face or anything unless you have somebody that's going to be making their debut that week in the tapings. I think that you can bring in, like, for example, like who I'm trying to think, like, who's not on the show, who's not. So I'm trying to think. Like, you have Laurel Van Ness, you have I'm pretty sure Alyssa Edwards is still with the company, so that would be kind of cool. Some people said maybe insert her into the Knockouts title match. The only reason I wouldn't do that is because I think that's going to take away from Gail Kim. This is her last match. It's in Canada. And I think that by putting Rosemary in there, I think that she's such a polarizing character that, you are going to, it's going to take away from the match. People are going to be focused on Rosemary, especially because of the Taya Valkyrie situation. And I don't want that to come off bad when I say the Taya Valkyrie situation, because I have nothing but respect for Taya, but just this situation in general. You could also kind of split up the match, too. I know that they've been really building this up with Allie and Sienna and Gail Kim, but, I mean, you can have Allie go against Rosemary, and this make Sienna versus Gail Kim as a one-on-one. And I think that's where the real beef is anyways, is with Gail Kim and with Sienna. I know that this past week on Impact, they did the match where Allie actually pinned Sienna, which I'm sure they were going to use that leading into the match itself, but I mean, you can use that at a later time. That's just my opinion. So that is what I think about the Red Wedding situation. I really hope they come up with something awesome for tomorrow. All right, so let's get right into the card here, okay? Well, currently we have 7 matches signed. I think we have another one from the Global Forged little tournament thingy that the winner of that is actually going to get a spot. So maybe I'm wrong here, but let's start with the 6-man tag team match. We got Team Impact. We got Eddie Edwards, Grand Champion EC3, and Cowboy James Storm. It's another one. I hope James Storm does not leave. I've heard rumors that he's going to be, this is going to be kind of like his swan song. I hope not, because I love the Cowboy. I really think that he would, man, I just really want a feud between him and Alberto El Patron. That's just how I feel. But it's Team Impact, Edwards, EC3, and Storm taking on Team AAA. We got El Hijo Fantasma. I just call him Fantasma. That's the easiest way for me to say it. Pagano and Tejano. I think I said all that right. I'm so bad at the AAA names. Now, if I can be completely honest, this is probably the match I'm least interested in, and it's just because I've seen them, kind of mix it up this whole time, like the last few weeks of Impact, maybe more so like for the last month, and I'd rather see like maybe, I don't know, I just think that I think that the feud with EC3 and James Storm should have continued and should have like capped off at Bound for Glory, honestly. And I think you could have done something else with Eddie, maybe insert him into into like another program with anybody, because Eddie can make anybody look awesome, maybe like someone from Noah, he could defend the title. But I don't know, I'm just not that interested, and I love the Team Impact guys I love in this match. I see Team Impact going over. I believe there's a inner feud with Phantasma and Tiano, and I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. This is just one where, and we saw like a little mini tag match this past week on Impact, and it was just like, why would you do that? You gotta. I wanted, keep them apart, or at least, maybe do like a singles match here and there, I just feel like there's no real substance to this match, but I'm sure it's going to be great though. I mean, it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be a fun match to watch, but storyline wise, I just haven't been invested in it. And that's just me. And that's just me too, because, I don't always get to watch Impact Live, so I have to watch a recap, or I got to watch it back on Hulu. So it's just one of those things, One that I'm kind of interested in, just because I love Abyss, and that's Abyss and Grado. I love Grado too, but I wish that they would just bring Abyss back like full time and not just like his special appearances here. So it's going to be a Monsters Ball match between Abyss and Grado. If Grado loses, his visa is going to be terminated, because it's because of Joseph Park that Grado is allowed to be in the United States. So, we saw that Joseph Park was kind of taking him for his money, and Grado confronted him about that, and he wants that revenge. And I think a majority of these Monsters Ball matches, at least lately, Abyss has come up on the short end of the stick. I don't know Grado's contract status. If it's not completely, solidified, maybe this is a good way to write him off of TV. I think Abyss needs a win. And you know what? I mean, for God's sakes, if Abyss wins, you can always write a storyline where they bring Grado back somehow. I think it's going to be... It's weird because it's going to be like a comedy match, but you're still going to get the brutality, especially from Abyss. I think that at the end of the day, we might get an appearance from Laurel Van Ness. That might actually be kind of funny. But I think that I think Abyss needs to win here, and it's not going to hurt Grado if Abyss wins. I'm rooting for Abyss, and I'm rooting for him just also because he's got James Mitchell with him. So that's my pick for the Monsters Ball match. Match that's been getting a ton of promos and vintages is the tag match. We got Mousse and Stephen Bonnar going against King Mo and Bobby Lashley, 6 sides of steel. And just the fact that the way that they built up like American Top Team, like as the heel group, it really made me hate these guys, And I love Bobby Lashley. But just like Dan Lambert and all those guys, I just wanted to see somebody just destroy those guys, And it's just I think that Mousse is an amazing talent. He's a big dude. He can move. He's getting better and better every time, right? I just wish that they would do more with him. Like, everything is always building up to him and, like, a random, like, other athlete tag partner. You know, he had the match at Slammiversary with, damn it, I can't even remember his name. Shit, I can't remember. But he was really good, right? But, and then we got it with Stephen Bonnar now, and it's like, I think Mousse is good enough. I think Mousse is good enough to be put in that world title picture, honestly. Give him the right situation, you know, put him with the right opponent, and at least maybe not in the world title picture, but maybe like a real high-profile bout. And this is a high-profile bout, especially with the stakes being in the 6 sides of steel. I see this being Lashley's send-off. Not permanently, but I think he's going to take some time off, go back to MMA for a while, and try his hand on that. And, you know, it was recently, he even said that, you know, he kind of lightweight challenged Brock Lesnar. I don't know if Brock's ready to get back in the cage, but that'd be pretty awesome. Who I have in this one, I have Mousse and Stephen Bonnar going over. I think we're gonna get some friction between King Mo and Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley's gonna turn on Mo. He'll turn face, and he'll kind of leave King Mo out to dry there, and then we'll have a nice little celebration between the baby faces there. You'll see a sign of respect between Mousse and Bobby Lashley, and it'll just be a nice feel-good moment. It'll be a nice. I think they're going to really build this up, like, you know, big fight feel like they have, and I'm really looking forward to that one. Next one right here. This is the 3-way match for the Impact Knockouts Championship. We got Sienna defending against Allie and Gail Kim, and I already gave my thoughts on what I think they should do, but if they keep it as a triple threat, I think that it would be really cool for Gail Kim to win the title in her last match at Bound for Glory in Canada. However, I think it would also mean a lot more. It'd be kind of cool if Allie got it, and if Allie was the one to pin Gail, and it's almost like that whole quote-unquote passing the torch moment. As much as I love Allie, I don't think she's yet at that level of Gail Kim, but if you've seen her on the indies as Cherry Bomb, she was amazing. And, you know, she's really getting a chance to shine now on Impact. And, you know, I hope that at Bound for Glory she really gets a chance to shine here. Sienna is going to come and she's going to just be hard-hitting. She's going to destroy everybody. And but I think at the end of the day, we're going to get a new Knockouts champ. We're going to get a nice emotional send-off for Gail Kim. And, you know, might get an appearance from her husband, Robert. But I think that it would be kind of cool to see Allie get the title. If Gail does win the title, it would be kind of cool for her to maybe she can vacate it, and then we can do maybe like a women's tournament, or I don't want to do like a battle royal. I think a tournament would be more, because then you can bring in more talents. You know, especially if Tessa Blanchard is coming in, that would be really cool. You know, you got Taya coming back, you got Rosemary, and you know, anybody else they're going to be bringing in here. I think it would definitely be beneficial. So, but my pick is actually Allie. That's my pick. No offense to anybody else, right? Next one here, the 51-50 street fight from the Impact Tag Team Championships. We got Ohio versus everything. OVE defending against LAX. Now, we saw the teasers. We saw that OVE says, you know, LAX always talks about family, La Familia, right? And then they said, well, we're bringing family with us. And you see a hand stick out in this alley when they're doing this promo and in this vignette, right? Thumbs up goes to thumbs down. And I'm telling you, that's Sammy Callahan, you know? And, you know, he's got ties to OVE from the indies. And I think he would be like such a breath of fresh air coming into Impact Wrestling. And it would be nice to, you know, you have LAX come out. They're all ready to go. You know, they got everybody ready to, you know, just throw down, right? You got Ortiz, Santana, you got Conan ready to fight, you got Homicide ready to fight, you got Diamante ready to go. And then, you know, you just see OVE, just see two dudes, right? And, you know, they say, you know, hey, we didn't come alone. Then you just see Sammy Callahan come out of the freaking crowd, and then it's an all-out brawl. This, I think, is going to be probably the most fun match of the night, because it's just going to be chaos. And if Impact's good at one thing. It's really good at having these crazy hardcore matches, but also kind of containing them to make them interesting. It's not just dudes hitting people over the head with frying pans and cookie sheets and all that. There is some of that, right? But I think this TNA Impact does a good job of really making these matches just seem fun. And I think that this is honestly going to be the most fun match of the night. I got OV going over here, just because of, you don't want to bring in Sammy Callahan, and have them lose. It'll be a nice feel good moment again. I think we're gonna see some blood, and we're gonna see some crazy spots here. But OVE is not dropping these titles on Sunday. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna happen. That's all I have to say about that. We have a 6-way match for the X Division Championship. We got Trevor Lee defending against Desmond Xavier, Garza Jr., Matt Sydal, Peter Williams, and Sanjay Dutt. I am thinking this is going to be a spot fest as well. Of course, you look at all the names in there. I'm really trying to think, who is going to get this title. I think a lot of people are thinking, I always kind of go on the assumption with these big shows that the champion, especially in this case, he's got 5 challengers, right? I think that a lot of people are probably pointing to Matt Sydal, which makes a lot of sense. I have loved him since he was in WWE as Born, when he went over to Japan and Ring of Honor. Now he's in Impact, and the fact that he hasn't really gotten a title run at all kind of boggles my mind. But I think this would be a cool opportunity to put the strap on Matt Sydal. However, I think where they're really gonna go with, though, is we're gonna see Desmond Xavier coming out with that title. He did great in the Super X Cup. Obviously, he won the damn thing, and I think that this will kind of solidify a new era in the X Division. Trevor Lee is great, though. Trevor Lee is so talented and so entertaining as a heel champion, especially when he was down in Tijuana this past week. I was laughing out loud. I thought it was hilarious. I would like a nice one-on-one feud between Desmond and Trevor Lee, and maybe throw Matt Sydal in there, at a later date. But, you got your veterans in there. You got Sanjay and Petey, and, Garza Jr. is freaking amazing too. So this is definitely going to be a spot fest. I don't think it's going to outdo the 5150 street fight. But my pick, honestly, is going to be Desmond Xavier. So that's what I got about that. And then we got the main event. We got Eli Drake defending the Impact Championship against Johnny Impact. I still can't get over that name. I don't like Johnny Impact. I like John Morrison or John Hennigan. I like him as a wrestler and a person, as far as I know. I just don't dig the name Johnny Impact. Why can't you? I don't understand. Maybe you can't be Johnny Mundo, but just be John Hennigan. I just think Johnny Impact is just, to me, it's a little cheesy. That's just how I feel. But it's he wasn't Johnny SmackDown when he was in WWE. And he wasn't Johnny ECW. It's. I think you could have done a little bit better than that, Impact. So that's all I gotta say about that. But this is the one where I'm really not sure what they're going to do, because I have a feeling we're going to be getting something from Alberto Albatron. I think at first I was thinking maybe they'll kind of mix him in with the street fight with LAX, which kind of makes sense because they were trying to recruit him while he was the champion before. I don't know, maybe they'll pick up with that storyline again, but I don't know, man. I really think that he's going to get involved in this main event. I hope they don't do what they did in 2015, where they, out of nowhere, they didn't do it after the pay-per-view, but they did it, a couple weeks before, where they just randomly inserted Matt Hardy into the main event. I think that it's just really going to take away between everything they built up between Eli Drake and Johnny Impact leading into this main event. It would be kind of cool if he does a run-in or is on commentary or something like that. He doesn't need to be in a match, but I want him to, show up and, no, all pun intended, make an impact. I think that we will see. I think we're gonna see him cost Eli Drake the title inadvertently though, and then we're gonna get a feud between Johnny Impact and Alberto El Patron. I have this feeling though, and I don't know why that Johnny Impact is not gonna be with the company for the long run. I don't know how long his contracts are for, or how they even work, how many dates he has. But I have a feeling that it's not going to be a long run, even if he wins the title on Sunday. But I think at the end of the day, this is all going to be leading to another world title run for El Patron. But that remains to be seen. But those are my picks for Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory. This is the 13th Bound for Glory, guys. I don't know if you guys have any fond memories of any past Bound for Glories. I personally do. I never got a chance to attend a TNA pay-per-view. I got a chance to attend Impact back in 2013. That was probably one of the last times I was able to probably sit ringside for anything if it's not an indie show. So it was a lot of fun. But I tell you what, my favorite Bound for Glory pay-per-view top to bottom, and it's not even probably a popular time in Impact or TNA, but I really dug 2010, from top to bottom, especially with the Jeff Hardy heel turn. We kind of saw it coming towards the very end of the match, but it was still a fun time. And you had the ECW guys involved in this pay-per-view. The X Division was amazing at that time. Yeah, and the Knockouts division was just they had so many people in that Knockouts division to the point where they had a Knockouts tag team title, I would say runner-up, I want to say either 2007 or 2008. That was definitely a good Bound for Glory as well. Both main events won by Sting. And then I really dug the main event of 2013 with AJ Styles and Bully Ray. I think that was a good ending. It was a nice way to kind of cap off the whole Aces and Eights storyline and show the redemption of AJ Styles. Unfortunately, he would depart Impact Wrestling very, very shortly after that. But for the time, that was an awesome main event and a great storyline. It's probably my last favorite storyline of Impact Wrestling or TNA. So, but that's it, man. That's all I got. That's all I got for this edition. Again, sorry about the absence and the lack of content, but we'll be live tweeting through all shows, whether it's Impact, WWE. If I have a chance to watch Lucha Underground live, I'll be doing that as well. We're going to be doing some wrestling roundtables with the crew that's been on the show, a big compilation of everybody. And, we got some video game reviews coming up too, so just stay tuned, guys. So for myself and for everybody here at Rebellion Wrestling, I want to say thank you for all your listens, your downloads, your subscriptions. Check us out on Podbean. It's going to be rebellionwrestling.podbean.com. And we're here on Spreaker.com, we're on iTunes. Follow us on the Twitter machine at RW_podcast. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Rebellion Wrestling. Get yourself a cool shirt. Support the show, right? So that's all I got. Happy Bound for Glory weekend, and we'll see you all on the next one. Later, boys and girls.